One of the questions we get asked is, why are our shoes or Goodyear welted shoes generally so hard when they start off? Well, the story goes back to where the leathers were made, how long it's been perhaps kept in waiting. So usually, let's say we place orders for leathers at a European tannery. Either they're ready in stock, or sometimes they have to be made. If they have already been made and are waiting in a warehouse, it's more likely that it has been there for a few weeks, sometimes maybe even a few months. If they have to be made, that's still a good 6 weeks of making time. And then there's the shipping, in which they put it into a container or a pallet and then send it out to us. Here it comes and sits in the leather format sometimes for a few days before we start to cut it out to make a pair for you. That's that. One is the waiting time itself. In our case, our shoes aren't made and kept in a box for any amount of time, because they're made to order. So there's not really kind of waiting time of the shoe itself, but all this kind of makes the leather stiff while it's just been waiting to be worn. But once you start to wear it, the leather starts to break, as in the chemicals that have been used to make the leather, they kind of start to flex on the inside of the leather, and this adds flexibility over time. What helps in that process is your body temperature and the sweat, perspiration. All this kind of helps the kind of fibers break down and make it flex where it needs to. So that's usually around the kind of flex point. It makes it easier to flex there. And then we've got the biggest thing, which is the vegetable tan leathers. Vegetable tan leathers do tend to be a bit stiffer to start off with, but over time they add a great deal of comfort to your feet. Now we are using vegetable tan leather both in the outsole and on the insole, the inside part of your shoes, and each of them are about a good 4 to 5 millimeters thick. So there's 4 millimeters here on the outside, 4 millimeters on the inside, and then you've got between the two cork, bits of cork along with glue that are mixed to form a kind of paste, and that goes in to fill the cavity. Now you can imagine all that put together can make for quite a hard, thick layer to start off with. But that's not to be concerned, because once you start to wear the shoe itself, it flexes where it wants to, and the rest of it, because it's nice leather, tends to kind of wrap around your feet to give you that nice snug feel. That's what kind of separates good materials from not so good ones. And if it's breathable leather and you're not using glues between your uppers and your linings, the feet, which helps it to become soft over time, all that just makes it comfortable over time. So just give it a few days. Usually they say it's about 10 hours of wear is what it takes to break into a pair of shoes. Another thing I wanted to keep in sort of put it out to you is the different types of soles. You've got the rubber sole, and you've got here another lugged sole, but with the midsole as well. As you add more layers, you can imagine it makes it a bit stiffer, but that's only to start off with. This leather, for example, is suede. It doesn't really have a break-in period for the upper itself, but the sole would. So different shoes, different constructions, different materials tend to start off with a bit softer on the first wear to a lot harder on the first wear. But over time, the idea is that it should give you support and comfort as you wear it more and more. Let me know what you think. Thanks.